Question 1, show me, tell me questions. So the question says, tell me how you could check the brakes are working before a journey. So this question is done before the car moves at the test centre, if you get this question. So the answer is, brakes should not feel spongy or slack. Brakes should be tested as you set off. Vehicles should not pull to one side. So basically, you say to the examiner, you could say exactly that, which is what it says, or you could say, before I start a journey, I'd start the car, move it carefully forward, gently brake. Car shouldn't pull to one side. Brakes shouldn't feel soft and spongy. And that is it. It's not technical. That is just the answer. As long as you can explain it, that's absolutely perfect. Question 2. Tell me where you'd find the recommended tyre pressures for this vehicle and how tyre pressure should be checked. So the answer says, manufacturer's guide, use a reliable pressure gauge, check the adjustable pressures when tyres are cold. Don't forget to check the spare tyre and then replace all the valve caps. So basically, you just say, I'd check in the manufacturer's handbook, or sometimes it's written on the door, down when you open the door, it's written down there, or at the petrol station at the pump bit, and it'll tell you what the tyre pressure should be front and rear. Take the valve caps off, check them, and then if they need air, you put air in them. You can always check with a pressure gauge, a tyre pressure gauge, which you can buy, and you just unscrew the valve, shove it in, and it tells you what it should read. And then if you need to put air in, you put air in the tyres. Okay, question 3. Tell me how you'd make sure your head restraint is set up correctly. The head restraint should be adjusted so the rigid part of the head restraint is in at least the height of your eyes or top of your ears and as close to your head as it is comfortable. So when you go back, your head goes on it, eyes and ears are in the middle bit. It's got an adjustable bit on the side where it can go up and down. If the car is hit from behind, keeps your neck and body straight to hopefully prevent whiplash. So you can give them as much information or as little information as you want, but as long as you can explain it, it's perfect. Question 4. Tell me how you could check the tyres to ensure they have sufficient tread depth and their condition is safe to use on the roads. So, no cuts or bulges, minimum tread depth of 1.6 millimeters across the central 3/4 of the breadth of the tyre and around the entire circumference and around the entire outer circumference of the tyre. So basically 1.6 mil. Let's see if we have a depth gauge, weirdo. A depth gauge. So you put this between the tread and the tyres and it reads what the pressure, what the tread is. Minimum of 1.6 mil, which is like that, which is not very much at all. So when that fills up with water in the rain, that's why it's the minimum needs to be that, because they basically become slicks otherwise and it's dangerous. 1.6 mil, no cuts or bulges, anything hanging out of them, gashes, and the central 3/4 around the middle bit of the tyre. So not the edge, I think it should be the whole tyre, but not the edge, around the central 3/4 of the tyre. Question 5. Tell me how you can check the headlights and tail lights are working before a journey. So the answer says, explain by operating the switch, turn the ignition on if necessary, and then walk around the car. So basically you just turn the lights on, turn the ignition on, put lights on the dashboard, you don't need to start the engine, put the lights on, walk around the car. Now this is only a tell me question, so you don't have to get out of the car, you just tell them what you would do to check the headlights and taillights are working. Question 6. Tell me how you would know if there was a problem with the anti-lock braking system. So the answer says, warning light should illuminate if there is a fault with the anti-lock braking system. So when you turn the ignition to put lights on the dashboard before you start the car, the ABS light will come up. It's a little amber line that says ABS. When you start the car, it should then go off. If you're driving and it comes on, then you need to get it checked. Now in theory, you can stay driving, but if you have to use the brakes hard, the ABS isn't working, all the driving wheels will lock up. But that's a whole different thing. So this is just a warning light comes on the dashboard and it says ABS and it's amber. Question 7. Tell me how you could check the direction indicators are working. you don't need to get out of the vehicle. So basically, if you think about it, when you break down, you put the hazard warning lights on. That puts all 6 lights on. So 2 at the front, 2 at the back, 1 on each door mirror or door or wing panel, depending on your car and your age of your car. So you could say to them, I switch the hazard warning lights on and I walk around the car and look. You don't need any keys in the ignition. You don't need the engine running, because if you break down, you take the keys with you to go to an emergency phone or something. You leave the hazard lights on and you wouldn't need the keys and the engine running in the car, because probably if it's broken down, the engine won't work anyway. Number 8. Tell me how you check the brake lights are working on this vehicle. Explain you operate the brake pedal using use of reflective windows, doors, or ask somebody to help. So basically you'd say, I turn the ignition to put some lights on the dashboard, put my foot on the foot brake, check in the interior mirror that they're working behind in a reflective surface, garage doors, windows, anything reflective. Or if somebody's with you, ask them to pop out and check. Lots of learners say, I'll put a brick on it or a ruler on it or something, and I'd wedge it down and then I'd go and look. It's a good idea, it still works the same. The examiner's not going to really mind what you use, as long as you can explain how you would check. Yet again, it's a tell me question, so you don't need to do it. You just tell them what you would do to check the working. Okay, number 9. Tell me how you check the power steering's workings before you start a journey. Now, so many people get confused with this. Okay, so the answer says, if the steering becomes heavy, the system may not be working properly. Before starting a journey, 2 simple checks can be made. Gentle pressure on the steering wheel, maintained while the engine is started, should result in a slight but noticeable movement in the system as it begins to operate. That's quite long-winded, but it's what's here. So do it as they say, or explain. So you say, when the engine's off, which the engine's off at this moment in time, the steering's stiff, it doesn't move, it's kind of locked-ish, okay? When you start the car, so you turn the keys completely and the engine starts, it moves about more freely. So just explain to them how you would do it, and by showing them and explaining to them, then they understand. You don't have to start the car, you can just tell them what you would do. Question number 10. Tell me how you'd switch the rear fog lights on and explain when you'd use them. You don't need to exit the vehicle. So the answer says, operate the switch, turn on dipped headlights and ignition if necessary, check warning lights are on, explain use. So turn the ignition on the dashboard, put some lights, turn the keys, put lights on the dashboard so you don't have to start the engine, turn the lights to dipped headlights. Now lights can be in different places. Mine are down here, some are on the indicator stalk, just in different places, so you just need to find out where they are in your car. And then all cars have rear fog lights, but not all cars have front fog lights. So in my car it's the bottom button because I have front and rear fog lights, so you press the bottom button, it looks like an eye with lashes, and then the amber light comes on the dashboard, and you'd use them when visibility is below 100 meters, not when it's raining, not when it's misty, when it's below 100 meters, and then when it clears, turn them off. Question 11. Tell me how you'd switch the headlights from dip beam to main beam, and explain when you'd use main, and explain how you know when main beam is on. So operate switch, turning the ignition again and then pressing the button. So you turn the ignition on again to put some lights on the dashboard like we said, turn it to dipped headlights, which in my car is 2 to the right, because side lights is first and then dipped headlights. And then main beam in my car, you push the indicator stalk towards the front windscreen and the blue light comes on the dashboard. So you've got side lights on the front, dipped headlights on the front, and then 2 extra light, which is main beam. And then in my car, you pull it back towards you to turn them off. Some cars go towards you on and off, just depends. So find out in your car, dipped headlights on, main beam. If somebody goes round you or comes towards you, you turn them off because it's very glary to other road users. You only need them on when it's really dark and out in the middle of nowhere. So this is under the bonnet questions for Show Me Tell Me from Always Pass Driving School. So this is a Vauxhall Corsa, and in theory, what a beautiful engine. There's 3 questions. So the first one is, please can you identify where the dipstick is and how you check the engine oil levels. So this is the dipstick, looks like it in all cars, and this is the engine oil. So you'd say to the examiner, I take the dipstick out, wipe it on a cloth, put it back in, take it out and look between the minimum and maximum. If it was at minimum, you put all in there and then recheck the dipstick that you put enough in. Second question, tell me, open the bonnet and tell me how you would check the engine has sufficient engine coolant. So this is the engine coolant. Mine's brown, I have no idea, it's normally pink. So when the engine is cool and the levels level out, which they have, it should be between the minimum and maximum. It's got minimum maximum lines written on it, and if it was below minimum, you put water and antifreeze in it when the engine is cool. Last question, brake fluid. Looks like that. You say identify where it is, so you point at it, say it's got a minimum maximum. If it gets to minimum, you put brake fluid in it. I've never put brake fluid in a car. Minimum maximums on the side, and you can just see the levels. Show me, tell me questions under the bonnet. Hello, so the Show Me Tell Me questions we've been doing, these are now the ones whilst on the move. So there is 7 options for this. So in theory, these are the ones you could possibly fail for on your driving test if they go wrong. So you'll be driving along the road and the examiner will say to you, when it's safe to do so, please can you show me how you clear the rear windscreen. So now in my car, and all cars are different, so you need to work out how it works in your driving instructor's car or your parents' car, whoever. So whatever car you're taking to test, make sure you know how to use it. And then also, whatever car you drive after test, make sure you know how to do all of these questions at a minimum, so you know how your car works. So in this car, you push it away from you, the back window wets, and then you put it back towards you, and it's cleaned it. Second question, show me how to clean the front windscreen. So in my car, you pull it towards you, it squirts, and then you just push back and it turns it off and it's fine. Probably does it 2 or 3 times to make sure it clears the water. Next one says, when it's safe to do so, please can you switch on the dipped headlights. Now, this can be a bit of a weird one. So my dipped headlights are down on the right. So you'll be driving along the road and you kind of have to take your eyes off the road for a second and move your hand down and then put them on and then put them back to either off or time, depending on what it is in your car. And you can use either option. So if, say, for example, you're driving along the road and you do weird steering because you're looking where it is and it goes down, this is where it could then cause you a problem that it's then not safe while you put them on. So make sure you learn them, go and drive and do it, so that when you're on test, you know where they are by just literally moving your hand and not having to look down there. Rear demister. So the rear demister in my car, the symbol is the same in every car in the world, but it's in a different place. So mine is down here. It's got rear written on it as well, which helps. And you just say to the examiner, it's here, and I just press this button and it will come on. Split second, you know where it is, do it. When it's safe to do so, please can you operate the horn. Preferably don't do it if you're going to scare loads of pedestrians by the side of the road. Just think about when you're doing it and press the horn. Please can you show me how you demist the front windscreen. So mine's got the same symbol in every car in the world, but in a different place, and mine also says max on it, and some say front and some don't say anything. It's just the symbol. So you could say, I'll press that, put a little bit of heat on and some fans. You don't have to add the heat and the fans, but you can add it in if you want to add something else in, but you just need to identify where the button is. And then the last one is, show me, when it's safe to do so, please can you show me how to open and close a side window. So in my car, it's got all 4, because this is a 5-door car, it's got all 4 windows activated by the driver. So you can do any window. It just says open and close a side window. So obviously these are the side windows. You could do yours, you could do theirs, you could do the back ones. You just want to press it so it goes down a little bit and then goes back up. Same thing with watching the road. Just put your hand down, so you just move it up and down so you know what you're doing in relation to opening the side and closing the side window.